So first thing we're gonna get into is It or Welcome to Derry, but it's like the prequel to It with Pennywise the clown. And well, there's spoilers in this. There's gonna be spoilers in this. So right off rip, let's just get to the first scene. Kid is watching a movie in a movie theater. The movie theater will play a part later on in this review, but kid runs away from a movie theater, gets in a car. He says, yo, take me anywhere with Derry. He thinks he's with a normal family. You could tell that this is not a normal family by how normal this family looks and how they react to taking a kid who is clearly running away, right? So off rip, we already know something's wrong. And then they finally show that something's wrong after some weird stuff, right? Some weird stuff happens in the car. I'm not going to go too into detail with that. But after a while, it gets weird. And a birth of a demon happens, a demon baby with like another baby skull or face or mouth. It's just a lot going on. It's crazy. It's graphic. It's gory, and pretty much we don't hear from homeboy again, right? Like he's taken. He's gone. Pennywise got him. So that's how it starts. That's like the first scene. Then we get into some of the cast, right? So they're setting. This first episode is a lot of exposition. I don't necessarily have a lot to say here. There's some all right scares in there, not really though, for a horror show, and I think people were underwhelmed with that from what I'm hearing, and I was underwhelmed with it, but I was just like, yo, it's the first episode. It's gonna have some exposition in it, right? So one thing though that was really interesting to me, and I wrote it down, and it was weird that I wrote it down because I wasn't trying to like look into it that deeply, but there's a scene where these two girls, right, this is like middle school, high school, where everybody's trying to fit in. So one of the friends, the one with the glasses, who I can't stand, by the way, but one of the friends tells the other girl, I'll put their picture so you know who I'm talking about, so it doesn't just sound like I'm saying this girl and that girl, because I don't remember their names, but pretty much one of the girls hears the boy that went missing in the pipes, whatever. So she tells the other girl's like, yo, this sounds crazy. You already have a past with sounding crazy because her dad was chopped up or something like that. So she already has like this crazy stigma on her, and her friend doesn't want her to look more crazy, but it's really for more selfish reasons. And she kind of calls her out on it, and she's like, are you worried that they're going to think I'm crazy, or are you worried that they're going to think we're crazy, right? Like together, like I'm a reflection of you and you're trying to defend yourself against that. And that just made me think, yo, like, with my best friend, I've literally never had to worry about that. And I know that these kids are in middle school, high school, but I met my best friend in middle school, and I'm 35 now. Damn, I almost forgot my age, but I'm 35 now, and I've never had that worry of like my friend selling me out, or my best friend, just being worried how I look in front of people affecting them. So I was just thinking about that. I was like, damn, like kids be going through it. And when you find good friends, keep good friends around you, keep good friends in your circle, because stuff like that is real. Like people, and I have actually had friends who are like that too, who act different in front of people. And those people are no longer my friends. And they were quickly out of my friend group. Like if I met you in high school and you were one of those people, by the end of high school, probably before the end of high school, you was out of here, buddy. You was out of here, buddy. And my best friend knows who I'm talking about, but that's an inside thing. Anyways, so that was one thing. Like I just thought about, I was like, damn, like I never had to worry about my people switching up on me, and these little white kids do. So anyways, there's this subplot though. They take us to this black airman, where there's this subplot with the military that kind of gives it like this Stranger Things vibe, right? And I'm like, something's in my eye right now, but it gives it this Stranger Things vibes, right? Because now we're setting up with these kids, because there's also these two little boys who were friends with the kid that went missing in the beginning of the episode, but they're not really good friends, by the way. Like it's one of those things, right? Like everybody's just not a good friend in this show right now. Then they go skip to this subplot with the military, and that's what gives it this Stranger Things vibe, because there's this military thing going on with the adults. Then there's the kids, and the kids have this mystery upon them, right? Because those kids eventually believe the girl who heard the missing kid in the pipes, right? So just to skip to the end, because like I said, a lot of exposition there. They murder 70% of the cast by the end of this episode. So the kids you thought you were starting to follow, like if you thought that this was 11, Will, and all of them, no, they kill 80% of them. By the end of this episode, only 2 kids remain, pretty much. So it was crazy, and I thought it was a dream. And getting into episode 2 now, because this is where the stuff starts to happen, and I start to be happy with this show. And I think that episode 2 redeemed itself. But I thought this was a dream, right? Because in the beginning of episode 2, what seems to be the main girl, because I don't even know if this is the main girl now, because they're just killing people. But anyways, the main girl wakes up from a dream, and I thought that was the dream, right? And they didn't really establish that this was real till later in the episode. So this pretty much sets up a whole new cast, right? Like of the kids. The parents pretty much stay the same. They do add some characters like the airman. His wife comes with his kid, right? So now this kid is going to eventually end up in this group. The other kid is the main girl and the daughter of the owner of the theater where all the kids were murdered at the end of the first episode, right? So that's going to play a part later on in the episode as well. I do think that there's some type of obsession, like I said, with giving birth, because what I think is a standout scene from the episode 2 is a birth scene, and it's very graphic and gory, but it's really good. It redeemed what the first episode didn't have in it. I think the first episode was just light, so be on the lookout for that. I'm not gonna say too much because I don't want to spoil exactly what happened, but that's a really good scene with some really good acting. What I don't like, just to get to it, is the racist undertones, right? And white people, that's your fault. So anybody who's I'm mad at it too, because I feel like we have to put this stuff in because there's the black airman. He's being targeted at the base with some stuff going on with him. Then we have the black daughter of the guy who owns the theater. He's being what looks like framed for the murder of these kids that he definitely had nothing to do with. Even the airman's wife moving to the city, she's getting looked at different. His son in school is being looked at different. There's all of this racist undertone. It's not even undertone, it's outright. It's frustrating for me because, number one, we have to acknowledge it, right? Like, that's, like I said, white people, that's your fault. That's not on us. Don't say, oh, why are they trying to be woke? They trying to throw this down our face. No, we're not throwing it down your face. It was just, y'all was racist. Y'all still are racist. Yeah, so we got to put it in there. But I do think it takes away and it becomes a part of the storyline, right? So the airman is dealing with it. But more importantly, the main officer or main detective or chief, whatever he is, he gets a little nudge saying, hey, like, if you don't lock up the black dude for all them kids, getting killed, come re-election time, you're not going to be in place, and we're going to put somebody who will get him arrested. So pretty much he takes in the girl, the main girl, right, who is already seen as crazy and doesn't want to go back to the crazy house. He basically puts that police pressure on her, makes her flip and say some things that gets the black man who's the owner of the theater basically arrested, right? And I don't like that. Like, it's true. It's accurate to history that when white people's backs are pushed against the wall and there's a black person to blame, it's easy to just blame the black person and get the black person in trouble because nobody's going to care about them anyways, right? Like, and that's how it feels. And I just think it sucks, right? Like, for me to watch, like, it's the most frustrating part for me, not because it's not real. I know it. I've experienced some of it. I've actually experienced this type of thing myself, like, literally, which is a story for another day that I tell one day. But it just sucks that it has to be derailed by this because y'all are racist and it's a part of history and it's nobody's fault but y'all. Leave it there. Then later on in the episode, there's this awesome horror grocery scene. I love a good horror scene that takes place in the day and in under good lights, under broad daylight, where you wouldn't think something scary is happening. They did that well. I really thought that was good. And then by the end of the episode, they kind of give us that subplot of what's going on at the military base, which is really good because I was like, what the hell is going on over there? And they kind of explained some of that. So it wrapped up the episode well to me, to where I was like, okay, now I want to see episode 3. Like, where are we going from this? So overall, episode 1, little bit weak, but not bad. Episode 2 totally redeemed itself. It's good. Check it out. Welcome to Derry.